Hi, it's Nell with Joyous Garden, and today I'm doing a video that I've been saying that I'm going to do for a long time, so it's about time. It's all about how I feed my houseplants naturally with worm compost and compost. So for once, the blog is up before the video. I posted that about 2 weeks ago. So there will be more details in that. I'm just going to cover a few key points here. So when to do it? I have currently been doing it in spring. I've been doing it for a while. I usually do it in mid-March. Now I used to live in Santa Barbara and I now live in Tucson, which are temperate climates. So I probably do it a little bit earlier than you would do it if you're in a colder climate. So I'm doing it in very late winter, early spring, but next year I'm going to do it probably in July. I'm going to do it again just because my houseplants grow so fast here in the warm weather, and I think they would appreciate a second nourishment. So first off, I do not make my own compost. I buy it. I buy organic, local compost, and I buy worm gold, worm castings, organic also, so they are already broken down a bit. But even that way, they are still a little bit on the stronger side, so be careful how much you use depending on the pot size. This pot size, I would use 1/4 inch of worm compost with 1/4 inch of compost on top of that. If it was a 14-inch pot, I would go 1/2 inch to 1 inch of the worm compost, and the same with the compost. So just like a commercial fertilizer, you don't want to overdo it because you can burn the roots. So what's great about these two amendments is that they're fast acting, but they also break down slow. So each time you water the plant, it's going to get a little bit more nourishment throughout its roots. And this is actually how these plants get fed in nature. They get organic matter falling from above or blowing or whatever. So it's actually nature's way of fertilizing with, as I said, organic matter. Now, one thing that's really good to know about both worm compost and compost is that they help to retain the moisture. So if you do choose to use them, you'll want to back off a little bit on the frequency of the watering, because it's going to keep a little bit of that moisture in there for a little bit longer. So this is actually how I do it. It's really simple. This is the worm compost. As you can see, it's very fine. And this is the local compost I use. It has more chunky pieces in it. And compost really varies depending on the brand you buy, or if you buy it from a local landscape supply center. But worm compost is usually always pretty fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate on this faux succulent. I didn't want to fertilize any of my houseplants now because it is November. So I mean feed them, because I don't want to feed them now. So I'm going to be doing a faux succulent wreath tutorial in January, and I just happen to have a bunch of succulents. So what I do is I just go ahead and I put in, as I said, about 1/4 inch. Just gonna bat this faux succulent back and forth. About 1/4 inch for this size pot. Just put it on there. That's about right. And then I'm going to top it with the, same amount of the compost. Boy, they're making faux succulents look good these days. Close up on that. And then right there, you can see there. And then all you simply have to do is water it in, and it releases its goodness every time you water. I just want to show you over here really quick. It's my Opuntia Joseph's coat, which I'm just about to transplant. And there are 2 tomato plants which have just seeded in there. Crazy. Tomato plants grown in November. And oh, by the way, I don't know if I said this, so I'm jumping back in. The link to the post will be in the description box down below. And it'll also be on our website, joyousgarden.com. All you have to do is type in worm compost and compost in the search bar, or you can go to Gardening 101 or Houseplants and find it there. I've been using this combo for years and it's always worked for me. It's a great and very natural, organic way to feed your houseplants. So I hope you have found this video on feeding your houseplants naturally with worm compost and compost to be helpful. I have a lot more videos coming your way, so please stay tuned for those. And let's see. Oh yes, I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get into our indoor gardens. But I also feed my outdoor container plants with this too, but this is about house plants. So we'll say into our indoor gardens and make our worlds a more beautiful place. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.